Hello and welcome to the CVCS Athletics Podcast. This is episode 5 and I am your host, Grady Sanchez. I have my co-host with me, Shannon Baker, and she's going to run her own interview today, which is going to be a whole lot of fun. We have the results from last week and the upcoming schedule. We have awesome interviews with Pastor Jeff Hamilton and sophomore Benji Makelela. Thank you all for listening to the show today. Please give CVCS Athletics Podcast a follow, a like, a subscribe, and a rating. You can find us on the major podcast streaming services such as Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcast. Also visit the CVCS Podcast Network website at cvcs.org/podcasts for all the shows by other faculty members, chapels, and students. Let's take a quick break in the action and welcome you to Eagle for a Day. If you know of a 7th grader or 8th grader who is interested in attending CVCS, come to Eagle for a Day next Thursday, October 12th. During Eagle for a Day, students come on campus and check out all of the opportunities CVCS has to offer. They meet with students, teachers, faculty, sports teams, coaches, and they get an excellent vision of what their future could look like here at CVCS. Please visit cvcs.org for more information.
Hey everyone, we invite you to come see Bye Bye Birdie on Thursday, October 26th through Saturday, October 28th, and support the CVCS Theater Department. It's set in the 1950s and stars Conrad Birdie, an Elvis-like music star headed for the Army. You don't want to miss it.
And now for the results from last week. We have the boys football team winning their game 24-22, improving the record to 4-1. We have the girls tennis team taking a loss against Pacific Christian. And the girls volleyball team beat Tarvet Vitora 3-0. Great job out there, Eagles. And now for the results of the week. The girls volleyball team is taking on Fairmont Prep at Fairmont Prep on Thursday. Also on Thursday, the girls tennis team is taking on Pacifica Christian at Orange Coast College. Friday, girls volleyball is taking on Whittier Christian at home at CVCS. Saturday, football is playing Weston Christian at Saddleback College. Monday, girls volleyball is on the road again at Pacifica Christian. Girls tennis on Tuesday is playing Fairmont Prep at Dana Hills Tennis Center. And on Wednesday, girls volleyball is taking on Pacifica Christian at home. Good luck out there, Eagles. It's going to be a great week. We are excited to invite Pastor Jeff Hamilton onto the show this week. He is best known as PJ. PJ is the CVCS chaplain for all of our athletics teams. He serves as a coach for the football, basketball, and baseball teams. He has served CVCS as a coach and chaplain since 2017, getting his start with the basketball team. PJ is the lead pastor at Hills Church in Laguna Hills and the founder of Dad Academy. Jeff has been married to his wife, Jamie, for nearly 31 years. He has 2 young adult children, Justin and Jordan. Justin is 27 and married to Savannah, and his daughter Jordan is 25, working as a musical artist and social media manager. With years of experience as both athlete and leader, PJ is passionate about embracing athletics as a tool that God uses to shape young men. PJ brings a wealth of leadership and motivational experience to the athletics program and is a vital member of the program on and off the field. PJ, it's an absolute honor to have you on the show this week. Let's start off with PJ. How did you get your name?
Thanks, Coach. This will be my 8th year here at CVCS, okay. 8th basketball season. And when I first came, PJ stands for Pastor Jeff. I'm the pastor also at Hills Church,
okay.
hillschurchoc.com here in Laguna Hills. And I actually had some families in my church that had students that were attending CVCS. And once my kids got out of high school, I looked at my wife and just said, I've been an athlete my whole life, small college basketball, even played recreational hardball till I was 50. And when I started, I just wanted to get involved with kids again, and there was an opportunity here. And at the time, we just ended up with the name PJ because the head basketball coach at the time's name was also Jeff. So we already had one coach, Jeff. So I just told him to call me PJ as short for Pastor Jeff, because that's what my church called me. And, you know, I don't think that there's any better thing that I love being called, right, than I love being called Dad or Pops, right? I love being called Honey by my wife. But, man, it's such an honor to be called Coach or to be called Pastor, because that means that that individual is giving you a place in their lives. And so, so thankfully around here, you know, Coach and Pastor kind of mean the same thing. So I'm glad to just be known as PJ around here at CVCS.
Yeah, because there's quite a few times where, well, I guess early on in our relationship, I just thought your name was PJ. And so I'm like, yeah, Pastor PJ's right over there. And then I realized that P stood for Pastor. I'm like, Pastor PJ. I don't think that's quite right. And then I was like, oh, Jeff, who's Jeff? And I'm like, PJ. I'm like, oh, okay.
There we go.
So, could you give us some more information on, like, your start here? And I know you coach football here, basketball, and the baseball first base coach, which was great. How did you get introduced, and what has your journey been like up until this point?
Well, I really, like I said, I looked for an opportunity. I have a not only I joke that I was one of those guys that was demoted to senior pastor from youth ministry. My heart has always been for students, and so, like, in most young men's lives, coach tends to be one of the most influential. If they're in athletics, coach tends to be one of the most influential people in a young man's life. And I really have a passion to see men developed and affirmed and celebrated and cultivated in our culture. And so I think some of the challenges that we face in our culture at large is challenges that have to do with men, right? While we provide some solutions, we also are the cause of a lot of our culture's challenges. And so we also live in a circumstance, maybe not here at CVCS so much, but a lot of single-parent homes to where biological dad may not always have the same kind of input. And at my age, a little bit older, there is a bit of a father figure that I'm pleased to be able to carry. And sports is still an important part of my life. So I wanted to get back involved. There was a opportunity for me to start just volunteering with the high school varsity basketball team here. And then as I developed relationships with the other coaches, I was invited by the baseball coach through the course of our friendship. She knew that I loved baseball, and you know, which of us in athletics can always use an extra hand, right, doing stuff. So I'll be in my fifth baseball season, working with the varsity team. Throwing BP and left-handed, which is always an advantage, right? And I'm coaching first base with the varsity team. And then with the addition of Eric Presler as our AD and our new head football coach in 2020, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be invited on that staff, even though it had been since Pee Wee League, since I played football. What I can do is coach. And you tell me what needs to be taught, I'll learn it. And I try to spend as much time cultivating the skills in that craft to be a benefit, not just like morally but I want to develop those kind of relationships with the kids where I can be trusted on the field and then off the field, because it will open up the door to relationships. Yeah,
because a lot of your training, education-wise, has been in leadership, correct?
Yeah, that's my master's degree is in strategic leadership, and it's a great opportunity for me to get to combine these kinds of things even here at CVCS. So I have the privilege of serving also as a chaplain for the entire athletic department here at CVCS. So we are helping our coaches develop leadership skills, develop skills to think strategically about how am I helping my kids, these athletes that parents are entrusting to me, how do I help them become healthy adults, and even in our particular context, lifelong Christ followers, right? And so helping coaches develop a strategy for intentionally cultivating the spiritual as well as the athletic side is part of what I have a privilege of doing. And even as it applies to a football team, instead of having a Bible study, our spiritual emphasis as the football team is I teach what's called the Leadership Lab, along with Coach Presler.
Right, they had mentioned that in their interview a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
it's been powerful to take leadership principles at the high school level. There's not a lot of training on leadership, right? What that really looks like.
Yeah, and a God figure, like what does it mean to be a man and lead biblically? And can you please shed some light on that?
Yeah,
that's
and
special.
we just have the opportunity to see where those things kind of integrate, right? The Scripture is full of instructions about how to live and how to relate to people and the power of relationships and the power of intentionality. And so Eric came across this concept that LEAD stands for love, effort, attitude, and discipline. And so in the Leadership Lab, we try to make it not just a class, but a laboratory where we get to kind of experiment and discuss and learn from one another, but we build it all off of these biblical principles. And it kind of goes back to when I started with the basketball program. It's interesting that even here at a Christian school, there are a number of families and kids who come specifically for athletics, not because it's a Christian school. So, like, for example, in our baseball program, there's a number of young men who, while they might be God-fearers, God-respecters, they may not necessarily know or have a personal relationship with Jesus. And how do we create other opportunities using what they're interested in to be able to do that? So with the basketball program, we started a thing that was called the Brotherhood, where once a week the kids would come over to my house. I'd feed them, we'd watch a game film, and then we would do a Bible study. And we called it the Brotherhood because it's based off a passage in Mark where Jesus says, if anybody wants to be great among you, you first have to become a servant. And I really believe the desire for success, the desire to achieve, the desire for greatness is something that God's placed in us. He's a great God, and we're made in His image. But the way that the world or the world system tells us that success is obtained is not the same way that the Scripture says it. Right? The world says, especially in the world of social media and stuff, it's all about self-promotion. It's all about me. It's all about... But we really say that as a Christ follower, you have to lead yourself. That's the only thing that you can lead. And if you serve others well, then you can become great, because that's what Jesus said. And so getting a chance to marry some of these principles using sports, right? It's so... sports is such a powerful parable, if you will, or context to be able to show we do it really well. We've seen many successful people who have athletic backgrounds, whether high school, college, who go on to be successful in life because they learn discipline, they learn rules, they learn teamwork, they learn cooperation, they learn effort, intentionality, discipline. Well, all of those things go into being successful in the other areas of your life, in your relationships, in discovering who God's made you to be and how He's created you. And so I think those things are really a powerful, powerful journey. And it's such a great privilege to have a laboratory here, if you will, right, where we use sports as an opportunity to create a relationship. And through that relationship and using the tool of sports, we get to help shape young lives, that they would understand that God really does have a purpose for them and a destiny for them, and to help them give tools to help begin to pursue that.
Yeah, it's just so special. The parallels between what life has to offer and what sports can do for you in building that idea or building those skills. Like watching Ted Lasso a few months ago, and one of the guys, his line is like, football is life. And then when I'm going through baseball and I'm talking to my baseball guys, and like, we don't want you to just be baseball players. We want you more well-rounded. And then I started to think, like, baseball is life. In the ways that, like, it gives me discipline, it gives me work ethic, it gives me the brothers and the sisters or the people next to me that I'm willing to serve and to go out to battle with. And it's just those things that are replicated in life. Just sports is like that microcosm, and how we learn those things early on And it's great that we have so many mentors, so many coaches, so many people that the students can look up to who are God-fearing, God-loving, and Christ-centered. And PJ, you're a wonderful advocate for all the students. One of my favorite things was one of the first chapels I saw here. PJ called up a bunch of students onto the stage and started washing their feet. And I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I don't really know what to expect. And then last week we just got back from retreat, and PJ was the guest speaker last year, I guess 2 years ago, because Mr. Choi, Mr. Choi was this year, so last year was PJ. And one of the things that we came across was the guys in the cabin, they pulled a prank on each other naturally. It's just what happens when you get 150 guys together. Yeah. And so one of the biggest things that we were talking about was, what does it mean to be a man? And so you're pouring it into the football players, the basketball, the baseball, in general, like in your service with younger men and kind of your niche almost. Do you have anything to share how sports, how Christ, how all of that can continue to influence a man, and what we're kind of trying to do here at CVCS?
Oh, man, first of all, my role as chaplain, it's not only for our male sports programs. Right. I get a chance to interact with the female athletes, and specifically the coaches. We have a great set of coaches, whether it's a male coach like we have for Coach Freeman. And it's so cool that he and his wife coach together for the varsity girls basketball, to Coach Bond, to Coach Chelly with the girls soccer. Right. Went to the tennis match today to see how the girls tennis was doing. And so all the coaches have this heart. But again, one of the things that I'm passionate about is men. In fact, I'll actually be headed to Nairobi, Kenya, the middle of this month, to be able to do a men's conference and take some concepts that really are integral in sports. When you said baseball is life or football is life, right, from Ted Lasso, it's also this true when you flip it. Life is baseball, because as a man, right? Yeah. When we're shaping young men, like, baseball is one of the few things that you can do in life that you can only succeed like 30% of the time and still be considered successful, right? Yeah. It helps you deal with failure and disappointment and moving on to the next thing and learning and growing, right? The best basketball players in history, none of them have an over 50% shooting percentage. Oh, wow. So you're going to miss just as much as you make, and helping men navigate those things and learning those kind of tools as a young man while still setting goals and having things that we're trying to achieve, playing within the rules. Like, all of those things are so significant because they do transfer. The challenge is that most of us have had to learn to make those connections on our own. One of the great things that we're trying to do here at CVCS is using sports as a teaching tool about life right now. Yeah. Right? If I can help a 15-year-old boy understand the importance of how he does when he runs this particular part of the play, right? How when he contributes, where it fits in the whole scheme of what we're trying to accomplish, and how things are all interconnected, that when he succeeds, we all succeed. And that's true in life as well. And so it's just a great opportunity that we have here to combine coaching and making Christ followers, and even helping some of our coaches begin to have a mind shift that we're just not about winning. It's not just about championships. Thankfully, CVCS has had historically not only a successful athletic programs, but we have CIF championships in a number of sports. I mean, baseball program has won the league 13 years in a row, right? But now it's not just about like teaching kids baseball. It's about using baseball to teach kids about life. Yeah. It's about using volleyball to teach kids about life. It's about using these sports and opportunities to teach. I love what Coach Bond is doing with the girls volleyball. Kelly, I know, was a recent guest, but she's teaching kids leadership skills right now because her girls are actually planning the practices.
Yeah.
Right? And that is a discipleship tool that starts to think about, what are we trying to accomplish? How do I engage everybody? How do I help develop skills? Man, what a powerful tool that is to have those skills as a 16, 17-year-old that's already developing, because those tools will serve you well. Will serve you well in life. And if I can just give a little side approach too, it's not only in the athletic department. We're seeing that happen in the fine arts department as well.
Wonderful job with a lot of student-centered ideas, and then even academically, like our big push the last year or two has been student-centered, using math as a mechanism for teaching these life values, not just baseball or football, what they're interested in, but that way they're seeing it repeated over in English class and Bible class and math class and the fine arts department and choir and all these places to where the students are engaged and they're involved, but making it theirs. Like Principal Walker, his motto this year is that it's your school. It's your school. Like, you are the one who's putting in all the effort. You are the one who's making it great. If you want people to show up to games, then you got to show up to games.
Which is a positive shift, and I think that one, the hardest people that is for us as teachers or administrators, that things don't depend on us, and really, to tell you the truth, shouldn't that be the way that the church, the Big C church, should work, right? It's not about the things that are provided for me at church, right? Hopefully you get some good coaching there. Yeah. You find some good teammates there, but it's really about what you bring to the table. And that kind of, it's your school, right? Yeah. It's your church. It's your life.
Exactly.
Right? And build the kind of life that God intends for you to have. And giving kids these kinds of experiences across the board. Yeah. Whether you're an athlete or not, the goal is still not only to provide a great education and Christian environment, but to really develop servant leaders that understand the privilege of having a purpose and God coming alongside of you. Yeah. And it's great, and it doesn't compromise the level of quality of coaching that we give. I mean, we have such high level.
Every week I'm impressed.
High level coaches.
Who we have on campus is unbelievable.
We have a coach right now. Like, this is just the quality of. We have a former head community college coach who won like 5 state championships, right? Who's just a part of our coaching staff. But this is a guy who has never uttered a curse word in his life, right? Yeah. And holds that kind of standard now. Becomes the standard for the rest of the coaching staff, where nobody gives themselves permission to kind of slip up or to just go off. Like, we start to become very aware, and the more that the culture continues to shift, even among the young men, among the young women, now we start to see if we can shift the culture of our team, right? And even help it raise to a greater level of character, of integrity, then we get to see that we can be that. That's what Jesus talked about being the light of the world. Right? That we can shine, not as a way to show off, but we can be the culture changer. And I don't think there's any better tool than sports to be able to do that. And then also to be able to just to connect with the parents. One of the things that I get to do is connect with the parents of our athletes. And we have some great things that go on here at CVCS for the parents. We have a men's Bible study that meets on Fridays. We have a women's prayer group that meets regularly. And through CVCS, they've also allowed me to bring this other ministry that I have that's called Dad Academy to the school, something that is around the nation, and a lot of different churches that we actually help men write a business plan for being a dad. And so that kind of intentionality is hopefully the kind of things that we're bringing to our coaching culture, our athletic culture, to support and supplement what's happening academically here at CVCS and serving our larger community.
Again, highlighting what a special place this is with so many different experiences, with so many different mentors that from every angle, the students here, the kids here, the athletes here just are getting spoiled by.
They are.
Like it's so great that we get to offer this, and it's something that wouldn't necessarily be brought to light unless you were told about it. And that's why I love this podcast. I mean, week 5, it's just such a blessing to sit down with Eric and Kelly and Sherry and Andre last week and PJ this week. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful.
I love the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, what other place so, I have all my family, my nieces and nephew and stuff like this on Find Friends on iPhone.
Yeah.
But I also have a separate list of about 15 to 20 former graduates who are all Division I athletes who have added me to Find Friends. So they may not even have their mom and dad know where they are, but they have allowed me that kind of access to their life even after they graduate. Because, that's what the kingdom of God is all about, is these relationships that you build. And if I can continue to resource them, like my goal now in my 50s is I just want the young people that I know and have in my life to know that they got at least somebody in there, one person in their corner who's going to root them on and cheer them on. I'll give them advice if they want it, give them some help, but that they know that that somebody is for them.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing place to cultivate those kind of friendships.
Yeah, something that I've taken from you is just openly expressing your love for the people that are around you. I have little 11-year-olds and 12-year-old baseball players, and I might correct them and give them some criticism and all that stuff, but at the end of the game, most often I'm like, hey, you were awesome today, or hey, literally tell the kids hey, dude, I love you. It's not like this weird older person making it all weird and whatever, but it's just no, I genuinely look out for you and I love you, and I saw you do it with the kids last year, and seeing your influence on some of the people here that I was like, man, that kid might be hard to get through, and seeing you cut them through like butter, just showing them hey, there's some love here, and actually accessing students and making impactful relationships, and that's so special and something that I've taken from you personally.
Thanks, Grady.
And grown a lot from your mentorship as a coach. We're talking about coaches all the time, but I am one of them, and you are a great influence to me as well. So one of the last things I wanted to talk about was the Logan Hall. Every year, and I know it's definitely during baseball season. I think it's in April. We do a Logan Hall service at the Hills Church. A lot of people come, family support. We talked about it with Sherry the other day. Could you just shed some more light so we can get some more families interested and some more knowledge about Logan's situation, so maybe we can spread more awareness to save a few more lives?
Sure. In 2018, one of our senior baseball pitchers, great kid, was he pitched on Saturday, probably the best game of his career. 5 innings of shutout baseball, little soft tossing lefty, but one of the best teammates also ever. Loved by his teammates, and then on that Monday night, he had a cardiac emergency that took place that actually ended up in him losing his life even before any emergency help could get there, because there was a defect in his heart. And not only did that affect the school, when you lose one of your own to something, these are the kind of things that cause people to question God and what's God doing. But we find that God really is most present with us in our grief, right? Just because he doesn't prevent things doesn't mean that he's not participating or engaged in what's going on. And since that time, the Halls, Brian and Suzette, Logan's mom and dad, have become a part of our congregation at Hills. And every year, at the request of our head coach, Clemente Bonilla, he wants to make sure that all the boys do 2 things. One, he wants to expose them to church, because some of the families are not participatory. But also we want to keep Logan's memory alive, not only because now we're a few years out. Everybody who knew Logan has already graduated, but the impact of his life has had such a significant meaning because it talks about teammate. It talks about doing what you love. It's talking about living every day as if it's your last. And so Clemente invites all of the baseball families to come, and we have a special day that's around the middle of March this year. It will actually be Palm Sunday in March, near around the time that Logan passed. We not only remember him, but we look forward to the things that God has for us and how God wants to be at work in our life. And we partner it with a community service project with a baseball program, where we partner with Heartfelt Cardiac screening, and they set up at Hills Church, and they offer a specialized heart screening with EKGs and everything right there in the church facility. Make up little booths. Last year we had about 150 people come through and get their heart screened for any potential cardiac problems. Yeah. And as usual, there were actually about 8 people who, had they not gone through that screening process, would still be living with an unknown cardiac condition, that because it was able to be identified, it was able to be corrected. Yeah. One of them is actually one of our baseball players, his little sister, who was a high-level athlete, high-level gymnast. And she came. They didn't know that she had a defect in her heart and could have suffered from a very similar situation as Logan. But because of this outreach event, that the baseball players all come and work and serve, that we're able to identify it. And that's the way that the grace of God and the miracle of medicine works hand in hand. And so it's a amazing weekend that now will be in our sixth or seventh year as we think about Logan Hall. So Logan's life verse was Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans for a hope and a future. And even Brian and Suzette, his mom and dad, said Logan still has a future because he's still impacting lives. And in a very literal way, he's saving lives because of how God received him, how God welcomed him to heaven, that his memory still is able to impact and save other people because of what he has gone through. And that's one of the ways, that's the miracle of how God works, because anybody can take something that's good and make it bad. Right. Only God can take what's bad and make it turn into something that's good.
That's right. The redemption that God offers is just brilliant, and no, I'm not worthy of it, but grateful that I have it.
Yeah, well, Grady, I'm going to shut us down a little bit because I know this on Sunday mornings. I've been going about 30 minutes right now, and I already know that at this time on Sunday mornings, people are starting to check their watch and saying, PJ, we need to move to the conclusion here. So, man, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, you're off to the football practice, and I know a lot of people listen on their drives in, so hopefully you guys had a little bit of traffic to finish out the interview with PJ, but it's been awesome. So, PJ, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a pleasure, and we'll have you on very soon again.
Look forward to it. Awesome. Thanks, Grady.
Thank you.
Welcome to CVCS Athletics Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shannon Baker, and today I have Benji Makelela with me. He is an international student who is a sophomore this year, and he came last year as a freshman. Good morning, Benji.
Good morning.
Benji, do you want to tell us where you're from, kind of just a background story of you, and what brought you here?
Well, a little bit weird because I'm the only one of my family from Congo, from Africa, because everybody else from France and Canada. And, well, I'm not going to say God brought me here because my mom didn't want me to go here first. So I'm here for school, studying, having a good education. doing my project and stuff.
And you say your mom didn't want you to come here, but I am a mother of 4 children as well, and I would think that that would be a very hard decision as a mom to make, to send one of her children pretty far away and not be able to see them every day and watch them grow. And but you are really close to your parents, and you talk to them often, call them, Skype with them, or FaceTime with them. Is that correct?
Yep, every single day. I try to at least call my mom, because after if I do 2 weeks, 2 days without calling her, she's gonna be mad at me. So to avoid all the type of stuff, I have to call my mom at least once a day.
Yes.
So, yeah, every day talking to my mom, giving news stuff, and I know it's not the same thing with having her like with me, but like she's always there talking to me, giving me advice about life, and yeah, it's not present, but she's here with me all the time. So
Sure. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you can share with us what has been your experience like here at CVCS as not just a student, you're an international student, but then also as a very high-level athlete?
Well, I must say it was pretty hard in the beginning, because I didn't know any English. I just know how to say my name and maybe say I to someone. And yeah, that was pretty awesome. People were responding, like welcoming, helping me, learning English with school, everything.
And let me give a little bit more background. Is Benji came last year with as a freshman partway through the first semester. So he didn't even start at the beginning of the school year with us.
November.
And he only spoke French.
Yeah.
And so with the support and everything that you got from here, within probably before the school year ended, you were talking and understanding English.
Yeah, that was pretty helpful to have everybody here. I must say some names: Kelly, Glover, Arik, Marine, JP, Sinat, and I got too many names to say that was helping me, supporting me, and it's really hard, even for me. Like I have some friends, they don't really speak English, and when they're trying to say something, I'm like, just leave. But like those guys, my basketball teammates, my football teammates, they're all the time there for me. Like try to listen, try to understand what I was trying to say, and yeah, that's pretty cool to have a family like that. You got Heath, you got Krusky, you got Chaplain, Michael. I got too many names to say, but I'm not gonna say any name. Cameron, Trey. So yeah, it's pretty amazing to having people like that around you. They know you don't really speak English, or you didn't really speak English your entire life, and they do their best to be there, understand you. So pretty cool to have a family like that here.
So my next question was, how was the transition like for you? But it sounds like you are already, like, you received a lot of support from a lot of your classmates and teammates. Have you ever felt like you needed more support, or that you were kind of alone and needed more help?
Well, feeling alone, needing support, something, I always feel like that since I'm a little kid, because since I'm like, my life always been like a part of people. Like I don't really talk to people I don't know. Even if I know you, I won't like open my life to you just like that. And because, as I tell you, I'm the only one from Congo in my family. I always feel as a part of the family too, because, yeah, something funny, I'm a little blackie too. Everybody else kind of light skin in my family. I'm the only really dark skin. So I always like felt like a part of a family, like I'm now really in that family or something. Everybody in my family, like, always super excited. I'm kind of always, I'm not gonna say sad, but like shy, but not really shy right now, but like I'm trying to get better. And I mean, it's just fun and cool being here, because I'm growing, and becoming a man, pretty amazing, growing and getting better in everything every day. Like my coaches say, Coach President, 1% every day.
As long as you're growing and moving forward, right?
Yeah, getting better in everything.
So this transition, I can understand coming here at 14 years old.
No, I was 15 years old when I got here.
Okay, 15. And just a new country, new people, not knowing anyone. And just that transition of not knowing what to expect, not knowing the language, and the support that you received here. Again, has the transition been harder than expected, easier, or just about the same as expected?
I didn't expect to be talking to people like I do. I didn't even expect to talk to people. I was like, I'm gonna go there, stay on by myself, and try to do my thing. And by surprise, everybody come to talk to me. Everybody tried to know me, and I was like, oh, people try to know me. People try to know about me. So that was pretty cool and amazing. And I'm really thankful to being here. So.
And tell me your decision to come to, America and CVCS is, what is the main reason that you're here?
I'm going to say one more time, my mom didn't want me to come here because she wanted me to go to Canada, like where she's from. And I got basketball. There's basketball everywhere, but like my dream is to play in the NBA, and do something that my dad didn't do, because my dad used to play basketball too. Didn't make it to the NBA. My brother still playing basketball. He's a professional basketball player.
And where's he playing at?
Now he's playing in Spain.
Okay.
But he's not in the NBA. So I'm trying to do something that nobody in my family did do. So that's why I'm here in the United States, trying to play basketball, trying to go forward, and trying to achieve my goal. So.
And that journey is, there's steps to that journey, and coming here to America and having an education like with an American high school, and then possibly moving on to a Division I school with the NCAA to play ball with them. And then again, there's requirements for that, graduation requirements and expectations, and then eventually with the NBA.
So, I mean, it's a process. So, as my dad say, you can learn something for anybody. With you, Ms. Baker, I'll be learning how to keep myself together. I've been practicing with Coach Dum, Coach Freeman, Coach Banton, Coach EJ, Edmond, Coach PJ too. And even with football players, soccer players, basketball players too. So, been learning something every single day with different persons. So it's just like Coach President said, one person every day.
Sure.
And even with little kids, when I practice with little kids, I feel like my coaches feel when they train us. So you gotta be patient and just listen, trying to be trying to support.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a process. Gotta keep working, keep grinding every day, trying to get better every day, and yeah, and keep praying too, because everything is God prayer. So.
Right. And something you said to me once, that your mom had said something about you're here and it's probably an answer to prayer. But that I'm sure as a parent myself, I pray for my children every day, and I pray that there will be godly people in their lives and people that speak light and are good witnesses to them. And something I think you said earlier last year about your mom saying that she has been praying that people will come into your life and be supportive and good and like an angel or something. What did your mom, do you remember that quote? Or
Yeah, I mean, my mom, she's a really sensitive person. She's always trying to care about people. So, I mean, and I'm the youngest one in my family. She's all the time trying to say something. Even if she got nothing to say, she's gonna try to say something. And sometimes I'm on the phone with my mom. We got 2 minutes quiet and we don't say something on the phone. I'm like, you here? She's like, yeah. I'm like, do you don't have anything to say? She's like, I don't want to. I just want to stay on the phone with you. I'm like, okay. And she want me to have friends, to be around people, to have people to supporting me, and I do. She knows some of my friends. Duffy, I already say a lot of names. So, yeah, she know all of them. So, yeah, my mom always asking me about my friend, how they doing. So, she just want me to have people around me and don't be by myself. Because she know I'm someone, we don't really talk to people. Always stay by myself, my side. So, yeah.
So let's get back to how your time here at CVCS has been. You came to play basketball, but you've played other sports in Congo, and you have told me that you are a great soccer player. And then last year you kind of got recruited to play volleyball. Was that your first time playing volleyball, like competitively?
Yeah, because I always watch like anime, volleyball anime, and I was like, I don't want to stay and doing nothing, just working in school. So I'm trying to do something. And the volleyball coach said, we would love to have you on the team. So that was another family too. So yeah, my first time playing volleyball, my first game. The first time I touched the ball, I got a point. And my Coach Ryan, got a picture of me. That was so funny. But like, it's really cool to have like different experiences.
Yeah. So you played basketball last year, then went on to volleyball, the volleyball team in the spring. And then this year, what sports are you playing this year?
So during summer, I've been practicing with Coach President in my football team because I play football right now. Never played football before. Decent athlete, trying to get better every day. Coach President supporting me. I know sometimes you get mad at me because, I don't do the right thing. But, having people helping you to get better in whatever you want to do, pretty cool. And always supporting you. I want to play this sport. Okay, you can. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
Never played football before. Now I play football at my team every game. So.
And what positions do you play?
I play nose and right tackle.
And then you're gonna play. You've been practicing with basketball, so you're gonna go into basketball season.
I've been playing basketball for 3 years now because I told you I want to do something that my dad and my brother didn't do. But I've been playing soccer since I'm 3 years old. So I'm gonna try to play soccer too. I'm not gonna be there every soccer games because in the same season with basketball, I'm gonna try to be the most game I can.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're gonna try to play two sports in one season.
At the same time.
And that's incredible.
Yeah. And after basketball season, first of all, we're trying to make a playoff. We will make a playoff in the football team and trying to win the CIF championship and trying to do the same thing in basketball too.
All right.
Because thinking about the people that I like, we got my senior in football team, trying to honor my teammates, do something for the last year. Basketball, I got Chaplain and Cooper last year too. I didn't do that for Harit last year. We didn't make it to the playoffs, so I'm trying to do it for them this year. And in soccer, I love soccer. I'm just going to play soccer for fun. So.
Yeah.
And volleyball too, it's a pretty fun sport. I'm going to play volleyball too. And I just want to do everything this year. I can't play baseball. I wish I could play baseball, but I can't play baseball.
Baseball and volleyball would be harder to double up on.
But it's cool. I'm trying to keep everything together. Also, it's cool. Not really hard this year, but last year was hard with English. This year still hard, but get better because I know a little bit English now. I can speak English. Yeah. So it's fun. Keep my grade high. So.
And you, I think you are dedicated and dedicated to your studies. I want to say that I have been impressed with your focus and your dedication to not just the sports and the athletics, but to your studies and to learning and making sure that you stay eligible for CIF and college and graduate. So thank you for being here today and talking with me. Is there anything else you'd like to share with anyone?
Not really, but like just think about what you just said. Eligible for CIF. I'm not studying for CIF. And I'm not even studying just for me. I'm studying because my mom's going to get mad at me if I don't. So she always said Jesus, like Christ, God, and school and everything else after. Even friendship after everything. And I have to follow the rules of my mom. I don't want to get beat up by my mom. So
she is a smart woman.
So I try to keep everything together with going to the church with you and studying. I don't really like school, but I have to. So studying and playing sport because I like that too. So yeah, and having my friends around. Yeah.
Well, thank you for spending this time with me, and we will see you on the field and on the courts. And I hope this year you stay healthy and injury-free.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week. Thank you all for listening to the show. Please give CVCS Athletics Podcast a follow, a like, a subscribe, and a rating. You can find us on all major podcast streaming services such as Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcast. Please visit the CVCS Podcast Network website at cvcs.org/podcast for all the other shows. Thank you all for listening. Eagles Country, let's fly.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK-12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening and stay tuned for more.